All right, everybody, welcome back.
What's up?
Episode
19.
We got to come up with something different because don't the girls do the something like that?
Yeah.
All right. We're not trying to be copycatters, so we got to figure something out. We're just flying by the seat of our pants.
Yep.
So, anyway, welcome back to episode 19. I can't believe this. This is insanity.
Mm-hmm.
We're so happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to take starting to take off a little bit.
I'm so proud of us
I
and our
know.
consistency.
I'd like to thank us for all of the hard work. Just kidding. No, this is pretty cool because we're starting to take off and we're starting to get some momentum.
And we're
which
enjoying the ride.
Yeah, which is awesome because, you guys, we're going to be able to see a lot of you guys if you're coming to what? The Loud Book Tour featuring 2 idiot girls. Ooh. How awesome is that? Last year, if you guys were there, we did a little mini tour, if you will, because we wanted to kind of test the waters to see because we knew Drew's book
on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm. We knew her book was coming out, and a year later, so we tested it on the West Coast. We did 4 shows. Every single one of them sold out, which we were like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. But it was only 4 shows.
I know.
This time we're doing 21 shows.
Yeah.
And when I say we, I mean the girls, not us. We're just going to be, shucking bags on the bus and ordering food and
the hype people and the support people. And you can do it.
We're going to be the referee. Stop fighting. We're going to be on a bus, you guys, like a big rock star tour bus for a month. Can you imagine? So if you haven't gotten your tickets, this is the schedule. Look right here. We're going to put the schedule up right here. We are going to be in a lot of states. I don't remember how many states we're going to be in, but it's a lot. And we're doing 21 shows.
Yeah, so get in where you fit in.
We are going across the country, you guys, and we're starting on the East Coast because you guys wouldn't shut the hell up about how come you're not on the East Coast when we were on the West Coast. So now we are kicking off the Loud Tour on the East Coast, and we're super excited because as of today, which is May the 4th be with you, if you're a Star Wars fan, you know what I'm talking about. We are almost sold out of LA, New York, and Boston. Boston. So I highly recommend if you're in any of those 3 cities, you might want to hurry up and get your tickets. And if you're VIP, you guys, the last tour we did, VIP was cool. You got some stuff. But this one, the stuff that you're going to get on this VIP tour is a lot. And I used to plan events and stuff, and the stuff that's in this swag bag is pretty cool. So if you haven't already, or if you have the means to do it, please buy a ticket and come see us. And even if you can't go do the VIP stuff, just get a ticket and come out. We will be there.
Yeah.
And we're excited to meet you guys.
Yeah.
So that's our shameless plug for our kids. All right, guys. So we're pretty excited about today's episode, and only because it just the topic just recently came up, and it's also been coming up quite a bit this past year and last year too. And the whole topic today, you guys, is life is too short, so stop giving a F about what other people think. Stop giving a fuck about what other people think. And here's why. Because life is so short, you're going to have regret if you really want to do something, or you really want to, do a hobby or do whatever. You want to do something, but you're too worried about what other people are going to think if you like or want to do that certain thing. So I'll give you an example. So every 2 weeks, the girls and I, we go get our nails done. So we have an amazing nail. I like to call her a nail artist. I know she's technically a nail tech, but I like to call her an artist because she really is an artist. And so shout out Michelle's nails. But we get our nails done every, 2 weeks. And we usually go like every other Monday. So this past Monday, I said, hey, I was looking at Tait'S feet. I don't know why. I think we were in the bathroom. And remember a couple episodes ago when he dropped a 10-pound weight, not once, but twice on the same toe? Well, now that toenail has turned black and blue and purple. And it's probably about almost ready to fall off, right?
It's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there. So I was looking at it and I was like, hey, I had a brain blast. Let me paint your toenails black. And then it'll match the toe that's fucked up. And he was like, okay. So this past Monday, I said, hey, I'm going to get my nails done. I went and got my nails done. I came home and I showed him my new set. And he goes, man, she's so good. Michelle's so good. I go, I know. you know what you should do? Since I'm going to paint your toes black, you should have her do your nails. So show him your nails, honey. So he went and got his nails done. At first he was like, and I was like, why? It's cool. There's so many guys that wear nail polish. What's the big deal? And there's guys who wear nail polish in basketball. That one kid, I think he's still in college, right? And like these misogynistic men are going nuts about him being a really good basketball player and having nail polish. But I'm like, Dennis Rodman did it. He was like a trailblazer in that. And I go, you should do it. And he goes, okay. Right? I go, and you know what? I'll find a design and then you can, I'll send it to Michelle and she'll do it for you. And you said, okay.
Yeah. Because I think I always wanted to do it. To be honest, I remember when the girls were really little and they loved to paint my nails, and I would let them paint my nails. And for a second, I was like, "Man, that looks pretty nice." If it was cleaner, right? Like obviously, but I was like, "Hey, that looks pretty nice." And then I would say, "Hey, take it off." And I think I like it. I liked it secretly, right? But for whatever reason, I didn't want to do it.
What do you mean? For what you know what the reason is?
Well,
toxic masculinity. That's what it is. Right?
Sure. And topped with, the conservative household I was raised in.
Yeah.
And the typical man, woman, teachings or whatever. Right. But like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But now, after Monday, after doing them, to be honest, I really liked them.
Yeah.
Like as she was doing them, I was like, man, I really like that. Right. I think it's cool. I think I really like it. And then she was then, so do you think you like it? When she was done, I said, no, I really like it. She started laughing. Right. And I was being genuine because I do really like it. Right.
Yeah.
But yet I still had those, because her studio is at the front door. And it's just a giant window. Yeah. And then she's like, 3 feet tall? So like I got my giant tattooed arm and hand on her thing. And then all these people are going, and every single one, because I can see the door, is doing a double take.
They see, so let me set the scene. So she works in a salon studio, right? So in this building, there's a whole bunch of suites in there that has nothing to do, or nothing but like personal care, like hair, nails, eyebrows, eyelashes.
I think there's a barber in there too.
For hair. Yeah. So hair, nails, whatever. Yeah. Eyelashes, eyebrows. And her studio is really by the front door. So you walk in the front door and she just has this big glass window. Yeah. So Tait's 6'6". Yeah. And Michelle's not 3 feet tall. Yeah. She is, I want to say 4'10" maybe.
She said something like that.
She's tiny. 4'11". Yeah. She's such a cute, tiny little girl. Yeah. And then she has her dog Dolce, who runs around in there. Was he there that day?
Yeah, he actually loved it. He absolutely loved me. He was licking me to death.
Little asshole. I'm coming for you, Dolce. I'll tell you the story about Dolce later. But anyway, and so I can only imagine people are going, what the hell? This big guy's in there getting his nails done.
Because my hand was on a thing like that. And then, my arm's
Your
tattooed.
Giant banana hands.
Yeah. And my arm's tattooed. That's the only thing you see in the window.
But you also said you like the manicure part, right? Where she got your
I love that. Like my fingers just feel soft and different. And like, you know what I mean? Yeah. They feel good.
I love that.
Yeah.
So since you had your nails, what's the response that you've had when you've been out in public?
So the last couple of days, right? Obviously, since Monday, it's you get the stares, which I always get because I'm a big guy anyway. Yeah. So that didn't bother me. Yeah. But then it's like my always thought process: if they say something, how am I going to respond? Sure. And no one's ever said anything, and I said, because they're scared. So that's fine, whatever. Yeah. And then I went to the pool store just today, right? And just to buy some chemicals for the pool, whatever. And the guy, first thing he said is, man, those are some nice nails. And it threw me off, but I said, thank you. Yeah. I said, thank you, man. I really like them myself. Yeah. And then he went even further. He goes, where'd you get them done at?
That's really cool.
Yeah. So my understanding or my thought process was he's just making conversation, which is fine. Sure. But it made me feel good. Yeah.
Well, maybe you inspired him to do his nails. Maybe he's always wanted to do them. And then he says he sees this big, with my finger quotes, masculine dude with his fingernails painted black with like white designs on them. And he's like, well, shit, if this guy can do it and he doesn't care, then maybe I'll go get it. Yeah.
Maybe it's not really that big of a deal.
It's because it's not. It's fucking nail polish. Like, who cares? But I think that's interesting that you were really mentally preparing for negativity.
For a response.
And you got positivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I said he threw me off. I was like, what the?
Yeah. So if only, right? If only in this world.
Right.
More people would be like the pool guy and be positive about it when there is literally a war against the LGBTQ and trans communities. And like, who cares? But they can accept you doing it, but they can't accept someone. You know what I mean? It's just, it's bonkers. But I love that. And I love that you don't care.
Yeah.
And I love that you've changed your ways with your internal toxic masculinity because you were raised a certain way. You were raised around football teams and whatever. I think it's important for people like you to continue to do stuff like this.
Sure.
Because it gives other people the courage to do the same.
It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, like I like it. It makes me feel good. I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
You know,
I keep seeing him, you guys. I keep seeing him like, I'll be walking in the kitchen and he'll be cooking and then he has one hand out going. And for those of you on Spotify, he's like admiring his hands while he's cooking with one hand and admiring the other hand. It's true. When I first started getting nails, like I'm a short nail girl. I
liked it.
Sports, whatever. And then the girls finally said, hey, grow up and get some some Gel X nails. And I was like, whatever. Okay, I'll try it once. And the reason why, well, two reasons. One, I never got nails because I'm always doing stuff with my hands. Washing dishes, whatever. And, or playing sports back in the day. And it's like, dude, I can't even I'm typing and doing all kinds of stuff. What?
You said washing dishes. I
a long time ago.
I thought for sure you were going to say on my phone.
Listen, I've washed a few dishes in my day. I'm talking about back in the day. We've already talked about this. I'd rather clean the bathroom than wash dishes. It's a thing. Okay, shut up. But also to the phone, right? And then the typewriter, or not typewriter. Oh my God, I'm dating myself. The keyboard, right? That's number one. And number two is I don't have the patience. I have zero attention span.
Sure.
So when I did get my nails done for a prom or for something fancy or a wedding, they take like 2 hours. And then the girls were like, no, Michelle, she takes no longer than 45 minutes to maybe an hour, depending on the design or whatever. And I go, all right, I'll try it. And I'll be damned. Been going now for 1.5 years, and I'll be damned. So anyway, back to topic. I'm all admiring my new set. Anyway, what was I talking about? So going back to our topic, I think that's important. Yeah. And I love to kick this segment off about this because too many times, and we've been talking about this, and that his nails is what prompted us to talk about this today, is too many of us waste our time here on earth. Because there's one thing for sure that's eminent, and everybody knows this. Death and taxes, right? So taxes always makes us miserable, but why does life have to make us miserable, right? And we all know we're going to die, so why not have a fucking blast while you're here? Yeah. And in order to do that, and in order to have happiness, you cannot give a shit about what other people think. Now, for most of my life, I've kind of operated under that, right? I don't care what people think, and I just do what I want to do. However, not all the time. And especially when I was growing up, because I was a mean pick-me, you guys. I was an asshole pick-me. It was so bad. And I didn't even know I was a pick-me until Dace and Andrew were like, oh, yeah, that you were a pick-me. When I tell them stories, and I was like, what? And I'm like, oh, no, it's true. When I start thinking back, right? Sure. So I did care. And I think that everybody has to go through that. Like, when you're in junior high and high school, everybody goes through that. They you want to fit in. A lot of that had to do for me was money. I didn't have any, so I had to get really good at something. So that was being super outgoing, super confident, which was, a fake confidence, if you will. And then being really good at sports so that I could fit in. And so saying that, as you get older, you start to realize, the people who are judging me, or I think are going to judge me, are a bunch of assholes anyway. Why do I care? Right? Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, the people that are judging don't even have nothing to do with your life.
I know.
But because you're assuming they are, and like you let that decision
Yeah, you let their you make a decision based on what you think they're gonna think.
And you sometimes you don't even know them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's weird.
I know. Like Dason always says, every time, and you too, every time I walk into a room, I feel like everybody's looking at me and thinking something about me.
Yeah.
And me, I walk in and I'm like, who am I going to talk to? Like I don't, that's not a thing for me.
Yeah.
Right. But if it was like it is for you guys, I'm like, you don't even know those people. No. Or if you do you even like them?
Yeah.
So why would you let them drive your decisions? But that's easier said than done.
Sure.
So our point here today that we're going to talk about is treat every day like it's your last. Like if I'm going to ask you, if I told you you had 6 months to live.
Sure.
Would you do a whole bunch of shit you're not doing right now?
Yeah. That's why I love talking about this right now, because I when you just said that, I thought I'm 51 years old. And the stuff I've done throughout my life, not saying anything was smaller than the other or bigger than the other. That I'm just saying 51 years of experience where I can tell our younger audience who's listening, hey man, there's a lot of wasted time, a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of missed, I don't want to say happiness, man.
Oh, for sure.
You know, so here, man, I'm going to tell you, this is what I wish I would have done, that I'm actually doing now.
Right.
And feel happier than I ever have in my entire life.
Yeah. And do you feel like you're happier because you've dropped the I give zero fucks about what anybody else thinks?
More than you even know. Seriously.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is your bodybuilding. And I know we're not trying to beat this to a dead horse, but this, for whatever reason, or for multiple reasons, this bodybuilding that you did last year is instrumental and kind of falls in line with everything that we've been talking about, including this. Yeah. Because you've always wanted to do it. Yeah. And you didn't. However, that is a regret because you wished you would have done it sooner. Right? You wish you would have done it earlier and whatever.
But now that I've done it, it's like, I'm good. You know what I mean?
And does that open you up to doing other things?
Yeah. So what I always forget about this, and then it reminds me later, after we've talked about it, it's boosted my confidence so much. You have no idea. You know, like makes you feel like you could do anything you want to do. You know what I mean? If you just put in the work. You can do anything, and be happier doing it, right? Which is what our focus is our podcast is today. Is like doing stuff that just makes you happy, man. Yeah. I mean, I was so restricted as a youth because of our conservative household as to how I dressed, right? But I liked certain things, and I had to avoid them because of the way we were raised, and it was actually even
like what? Because you were raised in the church, so like what kind of dress did you guys always like, whether it was in church or outside of church? I'm assuming you're talking about outside of church.
Outside of church.
So what were the things that were kind of like staple? Like we do this, but we wear these things, but we don't wear these things.
Well, it you know, not necessarily these things. Like we were still kind of with the times, but there was certain things that you know you had to. It just couldn't be looked upon as like tank tops. Like we could wear them, but like not so much, right? We had to wear T-shirts or like collared shirts all the time, and which I didn't mind at the time. I don't mind now. I still like, but there was certain things that I wish I could have experienced, right? Like because I had friends that were doing it, right? Friends that were more like culturally or. What do they call that social culture stuff that you really want to get into, but you can't because you have the conservative house you live in and the belief you have. Because even after I left on my own, I still had a lot of those restrictions.
Yeah, I
you know what I mean?
I can
I still
can
had
relate
a lot
to
of those restrictions.
So what are some of the things? So you talked about collared shirts, you guys. Yeah. Tate. Every time I say, "Hey, we're gonna go somewhere, like we're gonna go to dinner with our friends, right? Or we're gonna go to a dinner party or whatever." So we got to dress. You don't have to dress fancy, but it's like cocktail attire. It's got to be nice or whatever. First thing he asks is, "Can I wear jeans?" Most of the time, if I tell you it's fancy, if I have to warn you what the dress code is, that means you can't wear jeans. Number one. Number two, he's like, "Oh, okay, so collared shirt." And I say, yes. When I think collared shirt, I'm thinking a nice, sexy, slim fit, button down, with a collar that like shows all your muscles, but it's still cool, kind of open up right here, right? That's when you say collared shirt, that's what I see. But when he says collared shirt, he means this godforsaken red polo that you have. It's going to be the death of me. That thing has traveled with you everywhere, and I want to burn it to the ground. I want to burn it to the ground because I'm like, no more of the red collared shirt. God damn it.
It's still in there.
So that I think is part of,
course.
your conservative upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's either that or now you go super far left and you're like, oh, I'm going to wear this crazy t-shirt that says The Exorcist on it or whatever, or like Canes, Raising Canes or something. And I'm like, all right, well, whatever. So I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I get, because I did. I had all of these things in my head, but mine wasn't because I was in a conservative household. Mine was more so because I went into the corporate world and I really wanted to be, I would tie my worth to my successes.
Of course.
So part of me having success in the corporate world, I had to rock my Anne Klein suits. I had so many kick-ass power suits, heels, certain hairstyles that just look like boss bitch in the power and the boardroom, right?
Yeah.
Like a high pony with like a bump on the top and like really specific makeup, whatever. But I missed out on so much, like, because then when I wasn't at work, which was very rare, I had nothing to wear because I got caught up in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So clothes and certain types of shoes, because I know you had talked about your shoes too. Like,
well, a lot of that had to do with money.
Yeah.
Being younger, but we did the best.
I'm talking about like I'm talking about like not, you leave the home, you're out on your own, you're living with me, you still wore a certain color of shoe.
Oh yeah. So I didn't like colors. It was always black or white, or a combination of the two. It was always like that forever.
And why didn't you want to wear the crazy colors?
They're too flashy, or maybe too feminine. Maybe that was just my toxic masculinity.
Maybe.
Well, okay, it was my toxic. Is that what you wanted to hear?
Yeah.
Well,
say it.
I don't know exactly. It was just that was just my thinking back then. You know.
I asked you earlier, and you're like, "Yeah, it was that."
It was.
It's just, okay if you admit it now because you're not like that anymore.
No. I am admitting it. I am admitting it. There's no denying it. I am admitting it.
He's like, I don't know what that was. Well, I guess I'm admitting it. Shut up.
Back then, I didn't know what it was.
No, I know, but I'm saying now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, here's the point. We're talking about appearance, right? Yeah. So, in the whole gist of this and what we're trying to get across is, wear what you want, rock whatever you want to wear.
Sure.
Make sure that it makes you happy, and who gives a flying fuck what other people think? I'll give you an example. Here's one person that is the epitome of this, right? We're going to talk about appearance. We're going to talk about schooling. We're going to talk about hobbies and interests, right? We're going to talk about all that stuff. But one person in particular that I can think of that embodies all of this, and since the day I met her in college, she has always rocked this kind of like mantra, which is, I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks.
Sure.
I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to say what I want to say.
Yeah.
And now, she's been a teacher for over 30 years. She's like, I'm going to teach how I want to teach, which I think is, it's all about community and black and brown people. And she's a white woman. Her name is Kara. She's one of my closest friends. And by close, I mean, we're the type of people that hardly ever talk, but we send each other still snail mail, like cards and stuff like that. Anyway, Kara has always rocked this way.
Sure.
She's always like marched to the tune of her own band. She always takes public transportation. She scrapbooks. She makes homemade Valentines for all of her kids. And mind you, she's like teaching seniors in high school.
Right.
And she's still doing all this cool stuff. She does not care.
I want to say she's the happiest person we know.
Yeah. She's just so content, and she travels the world.
Always got good energy.
And she's always sending me DMs going, man, Drew's killing it. Oh yeah, you're a great mom, this, that, whatever. But my whole point in that is like, when you look at people like that, you go, man, I wish I was like that my whole life.
Yeah. They got it figured out.
But we didn't figure this shit out till just recently.
It's okay.
In the last 10, 15 years. And, better late than never. Sure. But here's the thing. When I wanted to get tattoos, I did. And I started getting them, you know, pretty early on, but I always put them in places where I could hide them because I knew I was going to go into the corporate world.
Yeah.
And I didn't want anybody to judge me because of my tattoos. And that was a real thing. And to this day, it's still a real thing in some businesses, right? We talked about that on the last podcast. But my point in saying that is now is like, why don't you go all the way down? Like my tattoos on my arms. Why don't you go all the way down to your wrist? And I'm all, I don't know. Because I still have it in my head. Like, well, it maybe, I don't know. It's not appropriate. I don't know. Yeah. Even though I'm never going back to corporate America. So I did. I went all the way down to my right wrist, and I'm going to do the left one later. But, you know, I'm so sick of doing things because they're traditionally done a certain way. Right. You dress a certain way, you do your hair a certain way, you don't get tattoos, and if you do, you got to hide them, all that shit.
It's just, I mean, I've just recently, right, within the last few years, as we've been doing all this, as I'm thinking about all this, as we're talking about all of this, it makes me think like, I'm glad I'm doing it now. So as we're sharing this information with you, like, seriously consider this because I feel like a lot of time has passed. Yeah. But it's okay. I'm not going to worry about that so much, right? I'm just going to focus on now. And that's why I got this done. Yeah. That's why I got my nails. Yeah, meaning my nails, right? That's why I got my nails done. That's why I got my septum done. Like,
it's so funny because Tate, like, under the radar, got his septum done. Yeah. Right? And like, he never announced it. He never like took a picture of him doing it and putting it on social. He just had it. Yeah. And when I'm posting pictures of us together or whatever, people will always DM me, go, did he always have that septum ring? Because I don't remember it, but it looks good. Like everybody loved it. Right. And I think you didn't announce it because you didn't want anyone to
probably not
to come out and say anything, but you still did it anyway.
I still did it anyways. Yeah. Which is the hardest part, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So the funny thing behind that, right, when I was getting it done, it was actually Dason that asked me. She had asked me, "Hey, I'm gonna go get it done. Will you go with me?" Yeah. And then I said, "If you go get it done, I'll do it with you. We'll do it together."
Yeah. Well, right? She came to you because she knew you've always talked about getting a septum ring. Yeah. And you were telling her, "Oh, I think that would look real good." Yeah. And I was telling her, "What? Don't get a septum ring. Get just get another nose ring like on your nostril." Yeah. She's like, "No, I'm gonna get the septum." And all right, whatever. So. She asked you because you said, "Oh, I want to get one."
I always wanted to get it. Yeah. But secretly, I'll be honest, I was trying to call her bluff. I didn't think she was going to go through with it. Right. So, but she booked the appointment. She said, "We're going this time or this day." I said, "Okay, we're going." And then we went down there. She goes, "You want to go first?" And I go, "You first." And she goes, "Okay." And I was like, "We're doing this?" And then she sits in the chair. And then I go, in my head, we're really doing this. And I'm looking at her and boom. They did it, and then she goes, "You're next." She hopped off the chair.
So it turns out she called your bluff because it sounds like you weren't going to get it done. If she said no, I'm not going to get it done,
I wasn't going to do it.
Oh man,
yeah, I wasn't going to do it.
What a weenie!
I know, but then after doing it, look, I got it done. So after doing it, I was really happy. Yeah, really happy with it. I'm so glad I got it done. I really like it.
I just remember Daisy going. The two of them were talking, and I'm like, "What are you guys talking about?" She goes, "Oh, I was just asking him, does your nose ring stink?" And I'm all, "What the hell? That's so gross." And she goes, "Yeah, you know, like it's kind of like when your earrings get stuck, and then you smell it." And I'm like, "No, actually, no, I don't. That's so gross." And having it in your nose, and she goes, "What? It's just natural when you get one of these." And I'm all, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I don't have a nose ring." I am considering getting a teeny tiny stud right here. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think I should get a nose ring? Just a stud?
Get it.
Well, I'm asking the people. I trust the people more than I trust you.
Get the septum.
No, I'm not doing that. And I'm just afraid of infection and stuff like that. Yeah. Even though I know you guys are like, it's fine, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. But okay. So anyway, back on our topic. Yeah. Do things that make you happy.
Make you happy.
And I know, and I'm talking to some of you guys right now. You guys want to do something. You want to wear something. You want to do your hair a certain way. You want to get a certain haircut. You want to do makeup. You want to do something right now. I know you do. Yeah. And you're not doing it because you're afraid of what everybody else is going to think, whether it's your parents, your friends, your colleagues, your schoolmates, whatever. Who gives a fuck? If it makes you happy and it's not illegal, it's not immoral, and it doesn't hurt anyone else, then rock it.
I know.
Who cares? And go ahead, babe.
I was just going to say, and then you'll be happy. And with that happiness comes energy.
Yeah. Well, and then you spread.
It's infectious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super
and then
infectious.
you're going to set an example.
Yeah.
And you might inspire someone else to do the same. Like you probably inspired that pool guy.
Probably.
To get his nails done.
Whether he just said it as a conversation piece or he really meant it, it made me feel good.
I just think if they're not serious or if they're not genuinely curious, they're not going to ask you where you got them done.
True.
He could have just said, oh, so your nails are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you get them done or whatever? Or maybe not even say anything.
No.
Yeah. So I think you inspired that guy.
Hopefully.
When you go back, look at his nails and see if you got them done. That'll be awesome. So, I mean, and here's the thing. Here's the last thing I'm going to talk about on appearance. I held back on, because I was in the corporate world early on in my youth, my young adulthood, if you will. I missed out on, and a lot of the people I hung out with were way older than me, right? They're corporate people, and I wanted to learn, and I wanted to be around people who made more money than me, were smarter than me.
Sure.
Teach me things. And mind you, 9 times out of 10, most of the people I was hanging out with were white.
Sure.
Because they always seemed to move up in the world, and I wanted to know the secret sauce, right?
Yeah.
So then I found myself at a very early age, like mid to late 20s, early 30s, dressing like I was an old woman in her 60s. I would shop at Ann Taylor and I would buy suits, and you know what I mean?
Well, that was you at that time.
And I couldn't shake it, man. I couldn't shake it. And here's why I'm telling you this.
Yeah.
Because I did it so early on, I really missed out on all the fun stuff, right? The crop tops and the, I don't know, the cool jeans and whatever. And so I regret that because I'm like, man, I had a rockin' body back then. I should have worn what I wanted to wear, but I was too afraid of what other people were going to think, especially if people saw me outside of work dressed like that.
Yeah.
And I missed out because I was too concerned what other people were going to think, right? And now I want to wear all that stuff, and I'm old as Jesus. And now there's a new fear that sets in, like, am I too old to wear this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, similar to me with my hair. Remember when I just started doing all those crazy things?
I know. That's like the typical like kid who grows up in a like really strict religious household and then leaves the house for good and never looks back and then just goes nuts on everything. Okay, I'm going to put a picture up right here, you guys, of Tate saying, hey, by the way, he had curly hair, but he wanted me to perm his hair even curlier. And I think it was because it was the first step because you wanted dreads. Yeah. And then he goes, and then dye my hair. And I go, dye your hair? I go, oh, okay. I don't know what I'm doing. So I dyed his hair with peroxide, which turned it orange. And I left the solution on too long, so he had a really tight curl.
It was super fire.
And he looked like Ronald McDonald. So.
It wasn't a red McDonald. It was a more yellowish red.
I think that picture has you with a broken tooth still too.
Oh, probably.
So I'm gonna find that picture, you guys, and I'm gonna put it right.
Is it the
here.
one? Is it the one on the beach?
No.
Mm-mm. Okay.
Oh, I don't know where that picture is, but I know what you're talking about.
Too.
No, I'm talking about the one where it's a close up and if your hair is super curly and you have like a broken tooth. I think I posted it on Facebook one time and you got mad at me because you're like, why would you put that ugly picture of me? I was like, because it's funny. But anyway, that's him going, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going to just do whatever. So, but yeah, but you interrupted me, but I was talking about the dilemma that I have now is, am I too old for this?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
We talked about that earlier. Yeah. Before we started. And we're always, it's always a back and forth, like, who cares?
Yeah. But I asked the girls and I'm like, I'll give you an example. So we went to Taylor Swift, the Taylor Swift concert, because Drew got invited for a box seat. And I like Taylor Swift, but I'm not a Swiftie. And so when we went, I kind of dressed a little, to the theme, like with pink shorts, whatever. I'll find a picture. I'll put it up here. But then when we went to Beyonce, now I'm not part of the Beehive. I am now, but like back then I wasn't, but I know a lot of her songs. And I knew that the theme was like silver. So I was like, oh my gosh, I got to find something to wear. And I found this really cute crop top, and it was like silver lame. And I asked Dason, I'm like, I really want to wear this with like some big baggy, like, you know, like what do you call it? A breakdancer pants, you know? I think this would look really cute, but am I too old for that? She's like, fuck no, just rock it. So I'll put that picture up here too. I had so much fun, and I felt so pretty, and I felt so good about myself. Even though my initial thought was, am I too old for this?
Am I too old for this? Yeah.
Now, why is that? Why does that matter? Why were we talking about this
Seriously.
right now? It matters. Here's why it matters. Because had I dressed like that, like I wanted to dress way back when,
right,
I wouldn't have even asked that question, because I would have been young and hot and sexy. So don't let other people's opinions dictate how you want to dress.
Yeah.
And how you want your appearance to be, because your appearance is for you and no one else.
Correct.
Right? So if you want to be goth, you want to be a surfer, you want to be whatever you want to be.
I was going to say, whatever.
Rock it. And guess what? It's going to change.
It's going to change.
Because you're going to get older, and then you're going to change styles, and you're going to change likes and dislikes and whatever. So when you're in the moment, do it.
Do it.
And if it makes you feel good, and it makes you feel pretty, it makes you feel happy, it makes you feel confident,
do it.
Do it. And don't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's jump into schooling, though, because I think this too is part of who cares what other people think. Right?
Yeah.
Now, there are some caveats. Okay? So let's talk about schooling and your parents' expectations.
Sure.
So your parents want you to be a doctor, but you want to be a musician.
Yeah.
There's the dilemma.
Sure.
And if they're paying for your schooling, do you do it or do you not do it?
Sure.
Like, what would you do? Right?
I would do it.
You would do it. And if my dad even gave a shit, I would do it. I would do it. But he didn't, and I still did it anyway, because I did it for moi.
Sure.
But here's the thing. Your parents are going to spend money, and this is for parents. Okay? Listen up, parents. You're going to spend money on your kids' education in something that they do not want to do.
Yeah.
So you're wasting your money. So drop your expectations of what you want your kids to be.
Exactly.
And really have those conversations on, what do you want to do?
What do they want to do?
And guess what? When you're 17, like Drew, going to college, or you're 18, going to Drew, like Dason, or you're 19 and you don't want to go to school like Donnie. You're taking a gap year. We want to know what our kids really want to do.
Sure.
And guess what? It's going to change. Dason was, I think, a sophomore in college, and she goes, hey, I want to change from a communications major.
Yeah.
Because she thought that's what she wanted to do, because that's what I was doing. I was doing PR. And she switched year in her second year and went into film because she loves film. If you know anything about Dason, she knows every movie that was ever made, who won Oscars, who didn't, who got some. She knows everything about that industry. Yeah. And she switched, and I said, hold on. I already invested 2 years of money into this shit. So does everything transfer over? And thankfully it did.
It did.
Thank God. And she got her degree in film studies.
Film studies, yeah.
And she absolutely had a blast and loved every class after that. Hated the PR world. So this is for the parents. Listen to your kids. Here's for the kids, you kids out there that are either going into college or about to go into college.
Or even waffling back and forth.
Or you're in college right now. Listen, you're going to change your mind.
Yeah.
So figure out if you want to go to college for that thing your parents want you to do. And if you don't, try and muster up the courage, or have your parents watch this episode so that you can follow your dreams.
Yeah.
And even if you don't know what you're going to do, that's okay too. If you want to do something safe like business, or you want to do, that will translate into something else. I promise you that.
They have trade schools for specific things.
Yeah. So like, you don't even have to go to a 4-year.
You go to JC.
You can go to the JC like we did.
Yeah.
Us knuckleheads started at the JC, right? The junior college. There's people that go to trade schools, right? That come out and have a kick-ass job, making a lot of money, doing something they absolutely love.
Absolutely love, because it's a trade for the trade they want to do. They're excited about it. They love it.
Too many people sleep on trade schools,
I know, man.
That means you go to school from anywhere from 6 months to 24 months. You get a certificate. You start working immediately.
Right away.
They place you into a really good job because these employers connect with these schools because they want their students like right after.
There's a huge need.
Yeah. So my goddaughter, Leilani, she's going into a trade school.
That's right.
She's starting out at the JC because they have the trade school at the JC for what she wants to do. And she wants to do auto body repair and painting. And it's a male dominated industry. And her parents connected with a business owner that owns an auto body shop. And he let her intern this year, and she sent me pictures of her spray painting.
She did her hours.
Freaking cars, and I was like, "Damn!" And she's having a blast, right? I saw a TikTok too of this gal. Same thing. She had a shop class in high school, and the teacher really liked her. Took her under his wing, showed her how to weld, right? Just like the basics. Then she went to a trade school, to a welding school. She finished, but then they said, hey, we have this extra class, this certification to do underwater welding. And she said, bet, let's go. And she did that, was the only female in her class, graduated at the top of her class. And now she is, I think, 21 years old, is one of the most sought out underwater welders in the world, actually. And she makes buku bucks. Because can you imagine having to go underwater and weld like ships and whatever? And she works for the government and whatever. And she's in a male dominated industry. Why am I telling you this? Because if you want to do it,
who cares?
Who cares what other people are saying?
Yes.
My goddaughter got harassed by her own teacher at school, saying this is a man's world, because it was auto shop. And my best friend had to go down there and get this, dude. Evelyn wore Drew's t-shirt with her with her picture on it with the two middle fingers up, the rap tee, right? She wore that to that office on purpose to talk to the principal about how her teacher was being misogynistic towards Leilani. And I was like, tell me when and what time and I'll be there too, because that's bullshit. So there's always going to be people hounding you on what you should and shouldn't do, especially when you go to school. Don't listen to them.
No.
You do whatever the hell you want to do.
Yeah. If like, say, for example, nurses, right? Typically female occupation.
Female dominated industry. Yeah.
Yeah. Hugely. There's males I know that want to be male nurse, like, but are probably hesitant because of it. Who cares?
Exactly. So fun fact, my mom was the chief RN at Hoag Hospital in Huntington Beach. Is that Huntington? No, Newport Beach.
Newport Beach.
And she met her second husband, my stepdad, there because he was a male nurse or is a male nurse. And that's how they met and they married, and the rest is history. You know what I mean? So it's like, and if you ever watch Meet the Fockers, right? Ben Stiller is a male nurse and they make fun of him, but he could have been a doctor, but he didn't want to be. So that's our point.
Yeah.
Don't waste time on other people's opinions when it comes to schooling that will lead you into a job that you absolutely love.
Exactly.
And here's another sidebar. If you choose happiness over money when you're in the workforce, right? Especially when you're going to school, and I want you to think about this. Are you going to choose happiness or are you going to choose money? Now, in a perfect world, you get both.
Yeah.
Right? A perfect world, you get both. However, sometimes you have to take the job for the money, but I promise you this: you will never regret a day of work if you're doing it because you love it. Right?
True. There's a difference.
I'm telling you guys right now, being a momager is the best job I've ever had in my entire life. Now, it just so happens it pays me pretty good, but I would take a pay cut and still do it because it's fun and I love it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So don't worry about what other people are saying or what career you should go into, what school you should go into. You do what feels good to you and what you can see yourself doing long term. You know?
Yeah. Whatever that looks like for you too. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, we say these things currently because we're reliving a lot of it. Yeah. I am, honestly. I am. I'm going back and it's all coming back up, right? All those things that I kind of buried, you know, as a kid, they're all coming back up and it's giving me more energy and feel like it gives me.
Like what things though?
Like the nail polish and the septum ring and then, you know, all those little things, you know what I mean? The gym attire. I didn't, you know, the certain shorts that I always used to wear, which is right above the knee.
They were below the knee. They were like basketball shorts.
Yeah, basketball shorts.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? And now it's like, I like them when they're higher.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where that comes from, I don't know. But it's changed.
You want everybody to see your sexy legs? Is that why? You trying to show off?
Probably.
Hey, whatever makes you tick. That's
No,
good.
but I mean, you know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
totally.
There were those things were in there, and I'm bringing them back out, and I'm enjoying it. Like, you know, those gym shorts is a big deal, man.
Yeah.
You know, so much masculinity in that gym, in gyms, period.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big deal. You know,
it's a big deal for you.
Yeah, for me.
It's not a big deal.
No.
It's a big deal for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so when it comes to schooling or whatever, you know, this is why we're telling you, don't waste time doing stuff or learning stuff that you don't care about.
Right.
Because you will make yourself miserable. You're going to stress yourself out. And then at the end, you're going to end up changing your mind anyway. So you might as well just cut that middleman out and just go straight there. Just go straight there and do shit that you love, regardless of what anybody else is telling you. Yeah. Okay. And I know it's tough if your parents are in your ass telling you, you have to be a doctor, you have to be an engineer, you have to be a lawyer, whatever. I know that's going to be hard to have that conversation. And some of you may never have that conversation because you can't. And, you know, and I feel, I'm sorry that you're in that situation, but there are some of you out there who can have that conversation. Have it early and do what you love. Right. All right. But yeah. And then like one of the other things I want to talk about is hobbies and interests.
Yeah.
Who cares what you love to do as a hobby or if you're really interested in it? And I'll give you an example. There's anime folks out there who love anime.
It's pretty cool.
They love to cosplay. They love to our son is one of them. And my other goddaughter, Livy, she's totally into anime. Billy, Drew's boyfriend, is into anime. Like it's like an art, like it's an art form. And I know in my school, if someone liked anime, they would get made fun of.
Sure.
Because they were like, oh, these are the weirdos, the anime kids or whatever.
Yeah.
I've always had admiration for those kids because they didn't care.
No.
They would cut their hair like one of the, you know, characters, and they would dye it like that purple or whatever. And I just thought, damn, that's cool. Right? My senior year, I've always wanted to be an actor my whole life. My senior year, they were doing this play and they were like, oh, you know, it was Death of a Salesman. And they were like, we really need people. And I'm like, oh, should I? But in high school, I was like, oh, the theater geeks. I don't know if I want to be in the theater geeks. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. Because I love that play. I told you I'm a Broadway nerd. I love that play. I love to act. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I dropped one sport so that I could do it. And the people thought I was crazy. But guess who got Actress of the Year? Guess who sold out the whole house? Because everybody wanted to see what this cheerleader was going to do. This jock and rah-rah was going to do. And I had a fucking blast, man. That was probably the best part of my high school years, was being in that play. But I'm not going to lie, I was worried that people were going to call me a nerd or whatever. And then I thought, all right, if they call me a nerd, I'm just going to have to fist fight him in the hallway. All right. I guess it's going to be a win for me. Right? Is there anything that you wished you would have done in high school that you didn't because you thought people were going to make fun of you?
I wish I could have dressed a certain way. You know, I think it was a certain dress that I liked, but it was kind of like.
Like what?
Like I used to have wear my jeans a certain way. They were more like high water kind. I wanted to. But it was looked upon as, it wasn't like, you know, just stupid stuff like that. But like it was just what I wanted.
So just the dress. But there's nothing you wanted to do, like you didn't want to take like cooking class or any of the classes that you wanted to take, but you were too afraid to because it wasn't the cool thing to do?
No, I don't think so. I think
he was so checked out of high school. Why am I even asking you? You never participated in high school. You hated high school. I loved high school. I had a fucking blast in high school. And I did all kinds of stuff. I took a typing class. Okay, I'm dating myself, but we're talking the 80s, right? And I took a typing class because I wanted to learn how to type because I thought it looked so cool in movies where people would just be looking at you and they're typing like that. And I'm like, I want to learn how to do that. I don't know why. And people thought I was weird for taking it, and I didn't care. I had a blast. I was the fastest typer. And guess what? That lent itself very well to me throughout the years. Yeah. And I remember my teacher was called, his last name was Zapato, right? And in Spanish, you know, that means shoe, okay? So I remember one day I was always late with this other kid, and his name was Scotty. And we both came in and he said, if you guys are late again, you're going to get Saturday work program. And I was like, oh no. So the next day I wasn't late, but he was. And he goes, Scotty, in his like Spanish accent, right? He's like, I told you you're going to Saturday work program. And he goes, oh, come on, Mr. Shoe. Don't give me Saturday work program. Dude, I fell out of my chair. We were crying. And he was trying so hard not to laugh. And he's like, basically saying, all right, motherfucker, sit down. Because that was a good, you got me. You ate me on that. You ate me up on that one. But I was like, I took that typing class because I thought, oh man, this is going to be cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? So anyway, again, doing stuff that I didn't care what people thought. Yeah. Right. And so like we were talking about hobbies and stuff, right? So like the anime and the theater and the cosplay, now it's more common that there's more males in cheerleading and dance in high school and college than there ever was before. When I grew up, there was none.
Sure.
At the collegiate level, yes, but at the high school level, no.
No.
And, nowadays it's more common, but I know there's a lot of kids out there that would like to do cheer and dance, but they're so afraid. And I'm talking football players. I'm talking soccer players, baseball players. They want to do it because it looks fun.
Sure.
But they won't.
They won't because
of the toxic
masculinity that's attached to it.
Yeah. Which I think is so sad.
I know.
But I see kind of the tide shifting.
Same.
Like with that basketball kid from college painting his nails. Yeah. And guess what? He got a huge deal, an NIL deal with Sally Hansen, even though all these guys were making fun of him and whatnot.
Oh, he's actually a football player.
Oh, is he a football player?
Yeah, and he got picked. And he got picked up in the draft.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, by the Bears.
Oh shit. Okay, sorry. I thought it was basketball. Yeah. But I thought that was awesome. And so you see the tides kind of shifting, right? In that regard.
You do.
Because, gender is a made up construct, right? It's anyway.
You can also see it in the dress style of our current professional players.
Oh yeah.
The way they're styling, it's how it's changing, right? Like they're in famous people like was that A$AP Rocky? I saw him carrying a purse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he's like one of the first ones to carry a purse, right? Like,
So dumb.
And
he's not dumb.
No.
I'm saying the stigma is so dumb. Yeah. And that just, again, lends itself to our topic. Who gives a fuck? And guess what? A$AP Rocky, probably a trailblazer. Yeah. Now you're going to see the most masculine, with my finger quotes again, men. Now they're going to carry purses like, oh, I've always done this. Yeah. But it only takes one person to trail, blaze the trail.
Yeah, I don't care if that guy says that. As long as he's doing what he makes him happy.
Yeah.
You could say, oh, I've always wanted to do this. Yeah. But the main thing is that guy started it, right? And then everyone's going to start doing the stuff that makes them happy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the other things too is like, I saw this TikTok the other day, and this lady goes, hey, when you get adult money, right? When you get McDonald's money, you know how your mom always says, no, you're not going to McDonald's. You got McDonald's money, right? She said, when you get grown-up money, there's this, in the dating world, and I know the dating world, according to Jason, is like sloppy, man. There's like, it's a wasteland out there. And this lady was saying the same thing. And she said, you know what I do now when I'm on these dating apps is I'm looking at the guys who love Legos. Yeah. If they have that in their bio or they have pictures of them doing Legos, I'm scooping those guys up so quick. And she goes, and you know why? You know why? Because, her friends are like, oh, they're nerdy. And she's like, I don't give a fuck. Here's why. You know how expensive Legos are? That guy's got money. He's got grown-up money, and he's reliving his childhood. Yeah. Let him have his childhood, fantasies of owning his own Legos. Because Legos are so absurdly expensive. Yeah. I cannot believe it.
When I was plastic.
When I was shopping for a gift for a birthday party we went to a couple months ago for a kid, and I went to, go I'm going to get him Legos. $150.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that cute. I was like, what the heck? You know what I mean? And now Jason and Donovan, that's like their thing. But I was like, damn, but that lady's so right. When you are reliving your childhood, who cares if people say you're too old for that?
Right.
Why are you doing that? I got to tell myself the same thing with the things I want to wear. Like at the gym, if you look at pictures of me back in high school, I always wore a sports bra and just shorts. I never wore anything else, you know. And then as you get older, here comes the booty hider. You know what I'm talking about? The booty hider. You put a long sleeve sweatshirt or a long sleeve t-shirt around your waist because you think that's gonna hide your, you know, your insecurity. And I did it all the time. Yeah. Or the little tie right in the front is gonna hide your pooch, you know, your belly. I did it all the time. And all of a sudden you get these big t-shirts and you know what I mean? And the gym we go to, I'm so grateful for because it only takes one, right? Yeah. It only takes one person to go in there and dress the way, like maybe you have similar body types and you're like, oh my God, they look so cute. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go buy myself that same exact outfit and I'm going to wear it too. And so I find myself doing that. And I started my fitness journey last year, I started doing that. And now if I wear a full t-shirt, like just a regular t-shirt, I get so hot so fast because I'm always, you know, wearing like a two-piece. But my point in saying that is it just takes one person to like just like open up your mind and be that like trailblazer for you. And if you wear it, if you do it, meaning a hobby or whatever, if it makes you happy, who cares?
As long as what are those three things? As long as it's not what?
Oh, yeah. As long as it's legal. It's not illegal.
Did you say illegal?
Yeah. As long as it's not illegal.
Yeah.
As long as it's moral and ethical. As long as it's those three things, you guys, fucking rock it.
Fucking rock it, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the last time I checked, nail polish on a dude is not illegal, immoral, or unethical.
Yeah.
So fucking do it. Because you're going to get to our age and you're going to go, God damn it, I should have done that back then. Right? That's how I feel about my clothes. I'm all, am I too old for this? I don't know. So I'm going to put up my pictures of what I was wearing at the Taylor Swift concert versus what I was wearing at the Beyonce concert. And then you guys let me know. Yeah. Okay. And my feelings won't be hurt. I'm like, yeah, you're kind of old. And that's okay. I'm still going to do it anyway because I don't give a fuck.
We're just... Like literally, what we're basically trying to say is life is truly too short. If the pandemic taught anyone anything, it's just that, right? So if you know that now and you understand that now, who cares, right? Work towards that happiness. Like do whatever makes you happy. Yeah, right.
I know. I feel like we sound like a broken record because we're like, if it makes you happy, then do it. But think about this: when and I'll have to remember where I read it from. Okay. It was probably a TikTok. I say, I read this somewhere, but it's probably a TikTok. But the whole premise of whatever it is I was looking at, interviewed, I think 100 patients that were on their deathbeds. It was done by a nurse, like a home care hospice nurse. And the number one thing that people regretted, there was like the top 10 things. And the number one thing was missing out on time with your family. Because why? They worked too much because they were trying to make money. Then they were grumpy and whatever, and they didn't spend time with their kids. I can relate to that. I was in that position. Thank God I got out. And then the second thing, in a close second, by the way, was doing things that you wanted to do, but you never did because you were afraid to be judged. Wow. Right? Yeah. So
how, what did they have the age group of these?
Yeah, they were like in their 70s, 80s. Wow. You know, it was a good range, but they ranged from like 70 to like I think one of them was like 101 or something like that. But the number 2 thing on that list was they missed out on so many things in life because they were too afraid of being judged for doing them. Wow. Whether it was cooking, like, and you know, being a chef or being a musician, or whatever it was that they really wanted to do. And they didn't do it, and then they regretted it. And the first thing they're saying is, why did I even care what these people were saying or whatever? Yeah. And then the people who didn't have as many regrets, they did all the things that they wanted to do. See? I know. So
I feel like we're going in the right direction then.
Better late than never. Hey, listen, we already told you the off-wallers are always late. And we're late in life too, so apparently. So, you know, always late, but worth the wait, I guess. So keep that in mind, you guys. Yeah. No matter what it is that you want to do, and maybe you're watching this and you're going, God damn it, this is so timely because I want to do X. Yeah. But I'm too afraid of what other people are going to say.
Go for it, man.
Dude, rock it.
Go for it.
Go ask that person out. Yeah. Go kiss a lot of people with consent. You know? talk to people, make friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have connection.
Make connections.
And do all of the things that, you want to do.
Yeah. Build relationships with people, man.
Yeah. That's a whole nother discussion. But,
Seriously.
Make friends with people who you think, oh man, if I hang out with that person, they seem really cool, but they're not in the cool group. Go be that person's friend.
That right there.
I made that a point in my life. I always made friends with everybody, and I was in every different group.
Yeah. The
goths.
Yeah.
The band geeks, the athletes, the rah-rahs, like all of that. And I just kind of like made my way around everybody. That's why I know everybody. So anyway, anything else to add?
No. This is. I love doing this episode, man, because it makes me rethink everything and stuff I still want to do.
It's like a friendly reminder for us.
Yeah, just like, hey, man, I think we're on the right path.
I know we're on the right path. So, 2 things. Number 1, before we close out, we were thinking, because we've been getting a buttload of DMs from you guys asking about advice.
Yeah.
Number 1, saying some really sweet, kind things, how much you guys love our podcast.
Thank you so much.
We make you feel warm and comfortable and safe, and you wish we were the parents you had growing up, and we could be your internet parents. That's fine. However, you guys always open it up with that, and then you have a question for us, and you have it's like asking for advice.
Yeah.
There's so many. We can't get to all of them. We have replied to several of them, but then now I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want these people to think that we don't care and that we're just not responding. So we were thinking
an advice column,
an advice segment. Probably at the beginning, maybe at the end, and just maybe take 1 or 2 of your guys's questions, and then just talking about them on the podcast.
Yes.
So we're kicking that idea around. If you guys like it, please let us know in the comments. If you guys would love it, or just keep telling stories. We're good either way.
Yeah.
So then here we are with our quote of the day.
That leads us to the quote.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. Not caring what other people think is the best choice you will ever make. What?
Weren't we just talking about that? It's like, oh my gosh, we like already knew. That's exactly what we're talking about today, right? It's the best choice you will ever make, you guys, and you will never, ever, ever regret it.
Yeah. Super, super easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
But small things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like my nails and the small things like that.
Small things like a giant tattoo. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for joining us for episode 19. We love you guys. Let us know about our advice segment if you guys want to see something like that. And like, follow, and share. Spread the good word. And we'll see you guys on episode 20. Woo! Bye, guys. Love you. Bye.